Thank you for tuning in to Gloves Off Seattle. Your hosts, Patti and Meagan, will be talking about all things Seattle women's hockey. A huge Pacific Northwest welcome to the PWHL. Gloves Off Seattle! Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.
Gloves Off Seattle.
Oh gosh, it's been a week, guys.
It has been. It's been a long week. I don't think the last time we talked, we knew Minnesota was out, did we?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember when that game was. No, I don't think
Yeah, I don't
so.
think
I don't
so.
think so either.
I'm not talking about that game, but Minnesota was out.
No, no, no. Yeah. So I think the things that were my plan is the first thing I want to talk about because we have something special we need to do. But the first thing I want to talk about is expansion. And then we will talk about the playoff games
Mhm.
that have happened already. And then we will talk about the Majestics game last night. I feel like that's
Awesome.
probably, as chronological as we can make it. Even though when did this game happen? Thursday?
This
Oh,
was
this
Thursday.
is very chronological because the announcement was made Wednesday. So the announcement was made Wednesday for both Las Vegas and
Hamilton.
Hamilton. Thank you. I was like,
hmm
oh, what was the second location? With the press conferences being Wednesday and Thursday,
hmm
which I
It's
mean,
very different.
yeah, I'm gonna complain a little. I'm not gonna just call it different and be kind like Patty is. I'm gonna say that's not fair. Every other city got its own day, got
Its
its own
own week.
week.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, Las Vegas and Hamilton have to share. And then everybody wanted to go off about the colors, which made me laugh. And
I
I'm
like the
like, I like the
colors.
colors
Not next to
individually.
each other.
Right. That's right. Like putting the colors next to each other was like, bleh. But like the colors individually are nice. Like I get it. Most people are like, oh, we want pink, we want purple, we want, whatever. But I like the colors. I like the colors for Vegas. I think pink can actually be an accent color for Vegas. I've seen that and it actually looks pretty good. And Hamilton is like the reverse of Ottawa, at this point.
Oh yeah.
So, oh yeah, you didn't see the meme. Oh, Brian sent us a meme that it was like Flash and Reverse Flash or whatever Reverse Flash's name is. I have no idea.
Mm, I remember that.
Yes, but he did send us that meme. So, I'm enjoying both the colors. And I guess we're just going to tack onto the announcement, or tack onto the expansion news, that we're talking about that GMs have been named for both Detroit and Las Vegas. And so, obviously, the conversations have been rolling and raging around the two GMs. So the GM for Detroit is going to be Manon Rhéaume.
Very
Oh, look
good.
at me
She's
go. I'm
practicing.
struggling.
It's
I've been
been a minute.
struggling. Yeah,
It's
French
yeah.
is not my French was never my second language, guys. So, I laughed when we went to Montreal. I'm like, when people speak to me in French, I normally speak back in Spanish because I don't really know what else to do because that's the only other language I know. So, anyway, yes, so that is, and for those that don't know, which I don't know, I mean, maybe people don't know this.
Just
I
a
wouldn't have
reminder
known this
out there.
I wouldn't have known this a couple years ago, to be perfectly honest, that she, was a goalie.
Is a
Is it,
goalie.
well, she is a goalie,
Mhm.
right? But she was playing, I don't even know where she was playing other than this one instance that she was signed to an NHL team in the 90s, early 90s,
Tampa Bay. She
and
played a preseason game.
played a preseason game for Tampa Bay.
It was huge at the time.
It was
I mean,
huge.
it's never happened again
Right.
either, but
Right.
it was just groundbreaking
Yeah.
and very, very big news. So,
Yeah. So anyway, so that's, I mean, obviously, goalie. I mean, I'm sure she's been doing goalie coaching. The interesting thing is I think that like, it's interesting to watch these who these people are that they're choosing for GMs and how they made their way into that front office. We talked that call it
yeah, yes,
front
yes.
office type position because you look at like Seattle's GM Meg and like she's a former player, but she went to business school and she was actually working for an accounting firm, I
Yeah.
think is what she told us, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, like a corporate accounting firm when she got pulled back into the league. The
Into
job
the
became
front of the
the
league.
assistant GM in of Boston, job became available. I think she knew the GM and basically they just talked about whether that was a possibility for her in her career path. And so it's just interesting the rides that people have taken to get them to where they are. So, yeah, so that's Detroit. So Detroit's GM has been named, and Las Vegas GM has been named. And her first name is escaping me. Her last name is
Did
Didio.
yeah.
Dadia.
I think.
Yeah.
I think.
But what,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. But what we know about her is that she is a former agent, player's agent, and actually started the women's hockey division for the agency that she worked for and has
And
repped
many
a ton of
PWHL
PWHL players,
players.
a ton. Most notably, we were
For
talking about
us.
those, the ones that are coming from Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
Bilka Barnes,
Ilka Barnes,
Carpy.
Carpy, and
Was there another one?
was there another
I don't
one?
know.
A goalie?
No, I don't think
No.
so. No, no, no. I was saying the goalies are going to all want to go to play for Detroit now because of no.
I mean, it can't be oops all goalies in
Yeah,
Detroit,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Can't
No,
be.
that would be great, but I don't think it's going to happen. Mm. Anyway, so interesting. So like that was her, her career path is going from being a player's agent and working for an agency, a talent agency, and moving into front office, which I don't think is unusual. I've heard that there are other people that take that career path into
Did you?
yeah,
Okay.
into the front
It
office
makes sense,
of
really.
hockey, not I mean of NHL is I think is where the conversations
Mm.
that I've heard have gone. So yeah, so that's kind of the what we know today. I guess the spoiler alert, I don't think it's a spoiler for
I
anybody.
don't think so.
Yeah, San
San Jose's
Jose is
next.
going to be announced. We're pretty for sure. I mean, this may not age well if they're not. That would be
It
hilarious.
would be,
But
wouldn't it? That would be
yeah,
really funny. We would have to write
we would
something.
have to write something. But
But
no,
we think Wednesday it's coming down, right?
Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. I think people have said Tuesday. I feel like Tuesday is what's coming to mind when I've seen the announcements that people think it's coming out the 19th. So that would be Tuesday.
Mhm.
So yeah, which is this is all good news, even though we're kind of giving the PWHL a hard time that they did two in one day because every other team has gotten their own week, but that they had a really short runway to get these four teams announced because they put themselves on a deadline of May 28th because that's when the expansion start process is starting. And so we did a whole episode about that. So if you want to hear about that, you can go listen to the episode. Well, maybe I don't think the whole
And
episode, but it
there's
was a big
many
chunk of that
people that have
episode.
done
Yeah.
also tried to do that justice, so
Yeah.
not just
Yeah,
us.
I mean, Ava 365 Hockey Girl wrote about it in her newsletter. I think she also has a video out there about it. I mean, there's other people who have done this, who have done it. So I know it's funny because I feel like somebody said to us like, "Oh, we listened to yours, we listened to this, we listened to that. We still don't understand what's going on." And I'm kind of like, you know what? Honestly, none of us really understand
I
what's
think we'll
going
figure it
on.
out as we go along,
But
and when anything happens,
we've
no,
never
it's
seen it in practice before.
tentative.
So yeah. So of course it's going to be new and exciting. But 2 weeks ago on the show, was it 2 weeks ago or just
No,
last
I think it
week?
was last week because we did
Okay, it was
bonus
just like oh,
episodes
that's
to
what
get
we did a
us. Oh
bonus.
my gosh, it was such a cute episode
Yes, so
for those.
that's why I'm thinking it's 2 weeks ago because we did the bonus episode with the
Hmm.
kids. So not 2 weeks ago, but last
Last
week
week.
we did an episode where we had Brian come on and we talked about the entirety of the season. And the last thing we talked about on that show was expansion predictions and what we thought was going to happen as far as protections and whatever. So later on the show, you'll find out that we all went to the Majestics game last night, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But at the Majestics game, Brian decided that he needed to formally apologize. So I'm going to read something, and I will post this out because it's just funny as I'll get out.
It's
Um,
very
he
serious.
wrote, yeah, it's very serious, and you can't laugh. Don't laugh at our
Very
friend Brian.
serious.
Anyway, he wrote this out, so I'm gonna read it. I'm just gonna read what he wrote, and like I said, I'll put it's on a if you're watching, you can see he wrote it on a little notepad. It's very cute. It's very adorable. But I'm gonna read it. Okay, here we go. From Brian. Dear Torrent fans and Gloves Off community, I would like to sincerely apologize for giving a false sense of security regarding Corrine Schroeder's vulnerability to being signed in expansion. Her top line numbers are good enough to put her in the quote unquote danger
Danger
zone.
Zone. Great
For
song.
for goalies after protection for the statistically elite goalies are taken into account. For the
After
statistically
protections.
I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. In the danger zone for goalies, after protections for the statistically elite goalies are taken into account. Sorry, Brian, I read that wrong. Sincerely, Brian.
Brian.
Yes.
Thank you,
Wait.
Brian,
Thank you, Brian, for
for
the apology.
clarifying.
Was not necessary in any way, shape, or form, obviously, to apologize to anybody for your opinion that you were giving and now have changed your mind on because we change our mind all the time on our opinions. So totally
Me and
cool.
Joe will
Yeah,
change our
that's
minds.
true. That's true.
So,
Someone could convince me of anything at this point, like whatever, whoever is going to be. So yeah, we had a big discussion in the car on the way to the Majestics game.
And the way home.
and the way home about protections and what we think are going to happen and who we think is going to be protected and now honestly like this is the last thing I'll say about it so we can move on and talk about playoffs but uh my opinion is I want the players to go where the players want to go and
We don't want anyone, sorry,
where
go
they want
ahead.
to be happy. Like that's the
Right.
most important
If
thing.
they
So,
want to go somewhere, we
yeah.
don't want to keep them here because
Yep.
they won't be happy and it won't be a good team vibe. It won't be a good vibe.
Yeah.
So we want everyone to be happy.
Yeah, and we don't want to. I mean, we've made predictions about where we think some of the tournament players may go based on some things that we know, but I don't even want to put it out in the universe because I don't. If they stay, like we're so happy, but we're like, if they go, we're like, we get it. Like
Right.
it could be like for better opportunity as far as being a more, star, quote unquote, star player or anchor player or whatever you want to call it,
To be
or
closer
to
to
be closer to home, be closer to family, and so.
closer to support.
Right. Yeah. So I think that like when we looked at the expansion last year, I don't know about this. I know in some cases Vancouver, this was the case for Vancouver. There were people that wanted to be in Vancouver, just like there were people who wanted to be
In
in
Seattle.
Seattle. And one of those most notably was Hillary Knight. Like we know that she wanted to be in Seattle. This was the city that she had decided after they played the takeoff tour, takeover
Take
tour,
over.
takeover tour here that she really loved this city as for lots of reasons, but just as a women's sports city, and that she felt like that she could really make her mark here. And I think she just earmarked this as like the place that she wanted to be. And so that is probably coming up with other people now that these other cities have been or will be announced that they're like, oh, I could see myself there, right?
Yeah, I could see my future there.
Yeah, my future there. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that this kind of came up last night and in the talk about it is like my struggle now is thinking at least four players because that's who's going to go to expansion. Four
Right.
players from every team are going to have to spend another year in an expansion city, which they may be excited about. Like that might be a fun thing for them. I just think like after being having the if the first that this
Like
first year in
3 years
expansion,
here, it's
yeah,
time
like
to
it's
like
time to
reap
like
the benefits
yeah,
of
not
that.
not be an expansion, a first year expansion team anymore, but it looks like I said, at least I know at least four players from our team and probably four players, I mean, more than likely, unless things go totally sideways with this expansion process that they're going to do, at least four players from Vancouver are going to have that experience again. And so for me, again, and for us, I think we've talked about like we want the players to be where they want to be, which I think is what the expansion process that they put together is giving the players more of a choice and giving them more of a more power in the decision about where they want to go rather than just you're in the expansion draft and too bad if you get called, you
Right.
got to go.
Right.
There's no choice.
Which is great. More power, personal power is great.
Right.
But full disclosure, we don't want anyone to go.
No, 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 no.
I don't want anyone
No,
to
we don't
go.
want anyone to go, but the
We know it's
reality
going to
is
happen.
they
We know it's going to
people are
happen.
going to leave.
But we're going to be sad at
We're
every
also
one
going to
of
get new
them.
players. Like that's the other thing. Like on the flip side of
We
that,
are going to get new players.
yeah. Well,
Yep.
yeah, well, we'll get some in the draft and we'll probably get some in free agency and things will shake up, but yeah, it'll be interesting. And just to think about the fact that there's going to be four whole new teams. So like this is the other thing we've been talking about numbers and that
Hmm.
we're going from because I was joking because we were flipping through walk-in fits for Montreal. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I was like trying to like name all the players just by sight and I was doing horribly, I'll tell you, because I don't know a lot of the
Better
Montreal
than me.
players, but I don't know a lot of Montreal. But I was like,
By
yeah,
sight. She's going by sight. She
by
knows them
sight,
by
their
name.
names.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But by sight, I just don't know all of them. But I was like, oh, my goal is to know all 200 players. And then I was like, oh, geez, that means next year I have to know 300
300
players
players.
because there's going to be 100 more players in the league. Which, think about that. Like just saying that out loud. There's going to be 100
100 more
in
players.
the league next year than there was this year. So, I mean, all of those are not going to come through the entry draft. I mean, some of those are going to come through, through signing, through, just I mean, I'm assuming just like an open window, like coming from the Swedish. I mean, I don't know that all of them are going to declare in the entry draft,
I
are they?
I don't I don't know. Is it going to be all in the entry draft or is
No,
it going to
there's
be
no
free
way.
agency? No?
No, there's no way that they're going to get 100 players in the.
Well, it's not going to be a hunt. Well, I don't know.
I mean, you have to add 100 players to the mix. Plus,
You do.
I know there's been at least one retirement announced, at
There
least one
have been at
retirement.
least one.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
know some people are injured, and like we don't, who knows who's going to come. I mean, I don't know. Like, so the math here is, guys, there has to be 100 new players. So, like, yes, so we will.
101 at least.
Well, yeah, we're going to shake this up. Like, they're going to move around and maybe not all be where they were before, but there's also going to be 100 new players in the league that there wasn't last year, which is
What
just,
a great problem to
I know.
have. We have to
It's
get to know more professional
I know, it's just
players.
boggling. It's mind boggling. So, we have been told by people who, have been a part of this for much longer than us that there are a ton of good players out there. That is not a worry. Because I was starting to say, are we going to see people declaring before they're finished with college, and just like, oh, if we need this many more players, are we going to have to start finding them, in non-traditional, like college, done with
Correct.
college ways.
Mm.
And from what we've been told,
No,
there's plenty of
plenty.
very talented players out there that we can get at least that many more into the league without anybody having to worry about like not finishing
Leaving
school
school.
or anything like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
um, it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So we'll talk about this at the end of the show about what the next time the next couple weeks are gonna have. So, um, don't let me forget.
Oh
I
crap.
know that's
You're
really bad.
asking me to
I know
remember?
Patty
You're in
remembering. He's in
trouble
trouble.
now.
Yeah, he's in
You're in
trouble.
trouble now.
Okay, so
Playoffs.
yeah, so that's expansion. What we know, where we're at this moment in time, put a timestamp on it. It's Sunday afternoon, and when we're recording, before the Monday that we put this out. So, yeah, who knows? I mean, something could happen overnight because this is the way the next couple weeks is gonna go. I know it's like things are gonna happen like at the speed of, and
Fast and
so
Furious.
we have no plans to do bonus episodes, but if something happens and we feel like we need to do it, we will. So, just so you know, we live together, so it's really easy for us to record a podcast episode. Easy. We have to have time to record it, but like other than that, like we can do it. We live together.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have to schedule it. We're
yeah,
like, are you gonna set up or am I gonna set
yeah,
up?
yeah, yeah. No. Well, we do have to say that. I mean, Patty set up today, so kudos to Patty. She let me take a nap. I feel like I'm talking about napping a lot lately. I know,
Mhm.
maybe I'm just tired.
Mhm.
Okay, let's talk about the playoffs. If you've been living under a rock and you don't watch the PWHL and you only listen to our podcast, which would be weird, the Montreal and Ottawa made it into the Walter Cup final, which started this week. So, we were
Could
very
not be happier.
Yes, we were very excited. And again, for us, it was like we just wanted to see a different set of teams than we saw last year because we were moving towards the potential of seeing the exact same Walter Cup final that we saw last year, which was Minnesota and Ottawa. But that is not what happened. Montreal pulled it out in the end. And yes,
Very happy.
we're excited. An all Canadian final is what we're seeing.
All female coach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Either coach. I mean, both coaches are female, so it's going to be a female coach that wins the Walter Cup this year. The other thing I always like to throw in my little statistic is, both captains are queer, so we get to have that too, a queer captain
Hey.
For the Walter Cup champions. And it's honestly like for us, it's like either way is great. Like we are cheering in one direction, I will say, and we'll talk about why and how and all that kind of stuff.
But we'll be
But
happy either way.
we will be happy either way. Yeah.
We are
Even if,
happy
yeah. So, we'll go over the games, but just,
very
Montreal is
lightly.
up yeah, Montreal is up 2-0. So, if we can harken back to the game on, Thursday, I don't know if can you harken back that
I
far?
mean, I remember went to overtime. I remember Ottawa was ahead for a lot of the game, or
Yeah.
scored late in the second, but was
So
ahead.
I think in both games there wasn't a score in the first period.
I
I think
think
we
that's
went
right.
scoreless until the second period.
Mhm. Both games.
Both games. We'll flip over to the second game. Penalties haven't been like super heavy, but it is. I think the one thing that I've noticed, and we did watch the playoffs last year. I just didn't know as much last year as I know
Mhm.
this year, so I can say from someone who like knows a little bit more. I do notice that not as many things get called in the playoffs, which we were talking about that like with the game yesterday. It's like it was an overtime and it's the playoffs and nothing was getting called. And there is something at the end of the game that we'll talk about that like it was an egregious foul that really should have been called that didn't get called for Ottawa. And so it's just
And it set up the game-winning goal. I
it
mean,
did set up,
it
yeah,
was
it's
pretty
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
significant.
Had it been called, that game would have gone on. And I'm not saying
Hmm.
Montreal wouldn't have won, but that game would have gone on beyond that goal. So Anyway, so yeah, so anything that you want to talk about that was is this the game that this is the game that
Stacy got
Laura
hurt.
Stacey got
Yeah.
hurt. So
Yeah.
we watched both of these games a little disjointedly and maybe not in their entirety because of just life. And
Mhm.
we'll admit to that.
We
We
have
we were
kids and
trying,
they came home from school and I
yeah,
was in the middle of that and we have to do lunches and get dinner
yeah.
and we're working
Yeah,
and
just not as yeah, anyway. So not we just haven't watched it as solidly as we would like to. But I think the big for me, the big story in that game was that Laura Stacey went down, and this was all in the third period. I mean,
late in the third.
this is the one where they scored like with two
Two
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah, so
Gosling scored with 2 seconds.
Montreal was down, and we have like a minute or less, a minute or two left in the game, and Laura Stacey takes a hit against the boards, and there
It
was nothing bad about the
it didn't
hit.
look bad,
No, but she
but
went down.
she was in pain.
And unfortunately, yes, the camera was on her for most of the time she was on the ice. And of course, Poulin skates over to her and is standing by her and getting the trainer and making sure, her wife is okay. And I told Patty, I was like, I could not even imagine being in that situation where you have to see your wife like writhing on the ice in pain. But
Yeah,
she was obviously in a ton of pain. And it almost looked like whatever they did on the ice was
hurt more.
curative. Like maybe they popped a knee back into place, like a
Fingers.
dislocated,
She
yeah,
said that as well.
a knee dislocation. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened, but she was in a lot of pain and it was very
Way in
obvious.
pain, in pain.
Yeah, and kicking her other foot against the ice, like it was pretty bad. And then they got her up and was not putting weight on the
Went
one.
straight to the locker
Yeah, went to
room.
the locker room. And then
Came out for
yeah.
OT.
Well, but I think that Nicole Gosling
Of
scored
course,
that.
the goal
Yeah, they
Gosling tied up the
scored the
game.
tying with 2 seconds left. Scored
Three
the
seconds. Yeah, two and a
oh
half maybe. I think it was like two and a half. It
yeah
says 1957, but oh
yeah
wait,
it
maybe
was
goalie change.
no it
No, that's
was
the
yeah that's
goal.
the goal. Anyway,
1957.
it's a two. I mean, everyone said 2 seconds. It was
She
very
did say
very
something.
very very close to the buzzer. Scored the tying goal and then and then yes. We have the 20-minute or the 17-minute, intermission because they have to Zamboni in the ice and blah, 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 blah. And so now we're coming to OT and Laura Stacey is out on, and I'm just like, I was like, what did they do to her in the locker room? What kind of voodoo magic did they do in the locker room that made her okay I mean, and you could tell she was being careful. Like it wasn't
Oh
like,
yeah, she was definitely ginger
yeah,
and favoring a little bit, and she
yeah,
used her speed because she can outrace
she's
an
very fast.
icicle.
Yeah.
She's very fast, and I don't think she was as fast as normal. So I think she was just being a little bit ginger with it, which
Yeah.
you know what? Good on her.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I hope that yeah, I hope everything is okay.
Yeah. So then the game-winning goal was off of Abby Rock's face mask.
She scored with her mind. Okay.
Yeah, it was the worst bounce like on the face of the planet for the Charge. Like the Charge couldn't have
It's
asked
like
for a worse bounce.
jaws on the floor. What?
Yeah, yeah, and it bounced up and ricocheted literally off of Abby Rock's like helmet face and in her
Into the
cage
goal.
into the goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they won the game. Montreal won the game in overtime
Very quickly in
after a
overtime.
lot of drama. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was only like 2.5 minutes,
Yeah.
so super fast.
Yeah, big switch. I mean, Ottawa felt like they were gonna win it,
Yeah.
and then it was tied up. Nicole Gosling's first goal in the
Well,
ever.
that was her first goal in the PWHL because she's a rookie. This is her
She's a
rookie
rookie.
season. Yeah.
And she's a defender still, but
Yes.
still, first goal,
Yeah. In the during the
tied it up
playoffs.
with 2 seconds to go. I mean, that's a dream
It was
goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously and this was said last night, which I think is really interesting, is that sorry, I'm trying to switch over to the next game so we can look at it. The either of these games could have gone either way. It could just as easily be 2-0 Ottawa right now.
Mhm.
So I mean that's how close it was. And I think it's funny because, Patty's been saying like the hockey gods are smiling on Montreal because they chose the Frost in the first round, which
They tried to go easy last year,
last
and
year,
it did
yeah.
not bode well for them.
Yeah.
And they took the higher ground this year, and I commend them for that because they were going to have to get through Minnesota regardless.
Yeah.
And they did it, and they're like, we can do this, and
Yeah.
they took the bull by the horns, and it
Yeah.
really paid off for them.
Yeah.
And
So whether you're superstitious or not, or whether you believe in, the hockey woo-woo that goes on, Patty believes that the reason why they're doing so well is because they chose Minnesota, and they took the bull by the horns. They chose Minnesota in the first round, and that this is paying off for them, and now they're ahead 2-0
Yeah.
in the Walter Cup final. So the second game also, yes, also went to
Oh, no
overtime.
scoring in the first period, second
There,
game.
oh, there was
Yeah,
there was okay.
Ottawa
So
scored first again. So
yeah,
both games, Ottawa scored first.
yeah. So, and yeah, I guess it was 8 minutes
Mhm.
into the first period, and then Montreal answered very quickly into the second period. So it was tied up for two-thirds of the game. It was tied up.
Yeah.
So it just felt like, I mean, they were just. Honestly, I don't remember if it was overtime in there in the
Well,
third
okay, we
period.
were at a kindergartner's birthday
Oh, that's
party,
true.
watching on our phones from this amazing couch that we totally need to get. I'm in love with the couch. I can't even tell you.
Okay, so Patty walks in and she finds out this couch has like not only seat warmers but massagers
Massager,
and what else?
footrests that come up, headrests
Oh
that
yeah.
are
It's like, and
adjustable.
she was like, "Where did you get this couch?" Like literally she found like she got directed to the website, like she signed up to be on the mailing list, like
Send
everything.
me more info. They're going to call me tomorrow. I know it. I don't know how we're going to afford it, but this couch, I'm
I don't
dreaming
know.
about
No,
it.
no, no, guys, this is the real question. We don't have any place to put
We
this
don't.
couch.
I
Like,
will
I'm like,
find room.
yeah, no, I'm like, where are we gonna put this couch? So anyway, that's neither here nor there. We were watching it at a we watched the end at home
We
though.
did watch the overtime at home. We made
Yeah,
it home and we made lunch. It was a late lunch for us, and we
yeah,
started watching
overtime.
overtime
Yeah,
while we were eating, and we saw the goal in real time
yeah.
live, and it was very good.
Yeah, so but the big news about this is that our friends Jill and Jose, so for those that back up to when we went out to Montreal, we actually met up with our friends Jill and Jose, a married couple that actually they live outside of Toronto now. And that was the game that we took them
First
to in Montreal. It was the first time they'd ever been to a PWHL game, and guys, they caught the bug.
They
Like the
they
fever.
got all the gear,
Oh yes.
jerseys, sweatshirts,
Yeah.
everything.
But
And
so we were talking this week. So this is the funny thing is we were talking this week. Montreal makes the playoffs, and Jill is texting us saying we want to go to a game, and we're like, cool. We want to go to a game in Montreal.
cool.
Awesome.
We want to live vicariously through
Yeah, well, I was like,
you.
Take us along with you in spirit."
Yes.
Absolutely. And then she says, but the problem is the tickets are going on sale when we're going to be in the theater. So they were going to see a production of Kinky Boots. Just totally random story, but you guys get to love our story, so I'm going to tell you anyway. Totally random, but they were going to see this production of Kinky Boots. Yeah, the time the tickets were going on sale was when they were in the middle of the first act. And so she's like, I can't be on my phone. I'm afraid we're not going to get tickets if we don't do this. And I was like, we can
Okay,
get tickets for you. Like, I was like, we can buy your tickets. Like, we know how to do this. Like, no problem. So that's, Patty and I were like, we did what do I call it? The Hunger Games, the ticket Hunger Games. Like,
yes.
we went into the ticket Hunger Games for the Saturday game because they were just like, oh, we can make it there for the weekend, and they can make a whole weekend of it, which they did. So anyway, so they got tickets and they went, and they said it was incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, they said it was absolutely incredible. I think the most fun thing is Jill said that everybody was singing and just having a like all the way out to the parking garage. She's
Yeah.
like, even in the parking garage, like everybody was just having such a great time.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine. And I said this before. I said if they win in Montreal, if they win the second game in Montreal, it's gonna feel like what it would
They
feel
won the
like
cup.
had they won the cup. Because my sadness for Montreal is now there's a good chance they're not gonna win the
Uh-huh.
series at home.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. I mean, it's hard for me, but I mean, I guess like Patty was saying, they don't want to take it to a game five, so they
They
have
don't
to
want to
be,
win at home at this point.
yeah,
I mean, they will, but they don't
yeah,
want
they
to.
don't want
They don't
to.
mind winning in Ottawa.
Yeah, yeah, they'd
They
rather
just
get it
want to
done.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'd
yeah, yeah.
rather get it done.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah, it's fun to win at home. And that's what I told Jill and Jose, like nothing like a playoff game. Oh my gosh, at home to win in overtime. What a great game for
yeah,
them to see. We are so happy for
yeah,
our friends,
yeah, we're glad they
honestly.
they got to go.
Bonus hockey and the overtime winner at home,
Yeah,
just an amazing feeling. And I mean, obviously, most Torrent fans, I'm sure, maybe there are some that are out there that have been to PWHL playoff games
yeah,
and other places, but
yeah,
playoff games are like another
but
level
yeah,
of experience when you're there live. And if you win at home, it's amazing. And for an overtime winner at home, like the whole team, it's mind-boggling
yeah,
how amazing it is. And I can't wait to get there with our team because,
yeah.
yeah, I
We'll
know
we'll
we
get
will.
there
We
eventually.
will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
eventually.
way to
So
go.
yeah, so there was, Ottawa scored in the first, Montreal scored in the second, and then there was no scoring in the third. I'm trying to think if there's any like interesting.
I
There was an
don't.
unsportsmanlike conduct
Yeah, I think it
on
was
Laura
a.
Stacy. I don't
I
remember
think
that.
that made it a 4-on-4, and I think
Oh,
they
that's
called the
right.
penalty, and I think it was like embellishment, which I think they just call unsportsmanlike
Oh,
conduct.
okay,
Now
okay.
remember, we're at a kindergarten birthday game for the birthday party for
Yeah,
most of this game.
yeah.
So, and
Oh, interesting. 'Cause I remember they went 4-4, but I didn't know what the call was. Okay, so that's
yeah,
interesting. I'll have to go back and look at that. But
yeah, that was one because they were at the same time, and it went four on
yeah,
four.
went four
So
and four.
yeah,
So anyway, so it was, it was a great, yeah, it was an absolute, it was absolute great game. I mean, I wish we could have watched it more. But this is the other thing is like all of these playoff games. I think there was some statistic like all but one game has gone to overtime
yeah, a
in the
lot have
playoffs.
gone to
Yeah, like I
overtime.
mean, I think that somebody, yeah, Brian, you can correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
and I
I
can
think,
look at my hockey
yeah,
journal
I
too,
think
but I think a
a
lot.
lot have gone into overtime. So
Hmm.
it is not unusual. It has not been the unusual thing for it to go to overtime. So all of these have gone to overtime.
Yeah,
So the next game in the playoff series is Monday. So Montreal
the
could
day this comes
potentially,
out.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, the day it comes out. So
Hmm.
Montreal could potentially win it all on Monday in Ottawa, and that is at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Which if you're living in the Pacific Northwest like we are, that's 3 o'clock.
It's before the kids
I'm
get to
actually wait. I know.
school.
I'm hoping that.
First
Well, I'm hoping I
period.
don't have
Oh
a
yeah,
meeting. I might have a
work.
meeting, but yeah, I do work, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see as to whether we can. Well, hopefully, we'll be able to watch it as live as we can. So
Yeah,
it should be a good game and an exciting thing. So if we need it, they need more games, there is another game scheduled for Wednesday, and then if they need a fifth game,
Saturday.
Saturday is the fifth game back in Montreal.
Yeah.
So that is the playoff situation where we're at, huh?
I'm just seeing stats on here head to head last 5 seasons, and that I was taken aback at last 5 seasons because there's only been 3 seasons.
That is kind of funny, but maybe they're just putting that
Thinking
stat.
ahead.
Yeah, I meant
That's
putting that
right.
stat out there because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to have that
And I mean, we talked earlier about the overtime winner, the
Flaherty.
Flaherty goal, and yeah, just that there should have been a penalty called.
Oh, that's
I
right. I
think.
forgot we were gonna call.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this is the other thing that like we both love Coach Chevry and Coach McLeod because I think that both of them are just they're just amazing humans.
Hmm.
We've been able to sit in the room with them and do press and like interview them before. They're always jovial. They don't have bad things to say about the
Class
other teams.
act.
Yeah, class act. And so
Tough.
this was like, I mean, somebody asked, Carla about so it was a trip that should have been called, and I don't even remember who got tripped, but it was right in front of the goal, right before.
Net front defender
Yeah,
was
and right
taken down.
before, Poulin passed to Flaherty and that goal went in. So it was one of those like had it been called, it could have changed the course of the game, of course. And so, somebody asked her and she's like, yeah, there was an obvious trip. I mean, she didn't say,
She didn't say that. She's like, had our defender been on their feet or didn't
oh,
have their
hadn't
feet
had that,
taken out,
didn't have their
didn't have their feet taken
taken out from
out,
her.
then,
That is what
that would
she
have been
said.
very
She didn't
different.
say
She
trip.
didn't
Yeah.
say anything about the ref. She didn't say
No,
anything
no,
about
no,
should have been
no.
called, would have been none of that. Just like had her feet not been taken out,
Yeah.
if she might have been she would have been there to defend the goal instead of Flaherty, walking in uncontested, which is what she did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, again, she was class act. It was a bad non-call, like it should have been called. We agree. But on the flip side of it, it wasn't called, and there's nothing they can do about that now. The
No.
game's over.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Nothing they can
so
do.
it is what it is. But I think that to me, it's like rather than throw a hissy fit and falling in it, um, no, I don't want to go there. Never mind.
Yeah, you roll with the
Yeah,
punches. There's
yeah,
nothing you can do. And
yeah,
yes, it should have been called. There's other things that should have been called. It's kind of like I mean, it has nothing to do with that, but it's like when they ice the puck at the end of the game and there's like 6, 7 seconds left and they're like, oh wait, we got to put a second back on. That never happens in the second period. That never happens in the
yeah,
first period when they're icing. They're like, oh, we should have put a second on there. But when it counts, you do something differently. And this is like when I don't know when it counts. Maybe the call should have been made, but it wasn't made, and you deal with what happened.
yeah,
So, but yeah, class acts both of those coaches,
yeah.
and we're gonna be happy either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So, I mean, obviously more hockey equals more hockey, which is better. So I won't be sad if,
mm-mm.
this goes to a 5 game series, 5 games in the series, but
I don't want hockey to be over
I don't,
tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. I'm like, oh, hockey could be over tomorrow. Which is sad. I mean, and hockey really would be over for us because the Ducks are now out of the series for anybody
Go
who's not
Colorado.
yeah, who's anybody who's not following the NHL. The Ducks unfortunately lost, and so they are no longer playing for the Stanley Cup. But I'm gonna say it here. My favorite. I think Double Hockey Lacey from Hockey Sticks reposted it, which is where I saw it. But it was a creator that made this. What's your mental illness based on your NHL team? And the Ducks was a panic attack. And what she said was like, it's like you get in over your head and you're not really sure how you got there. And
How
I
you
just
got
like I
there?
was like that was like the best like comparison ever because it's like the Ducks haven't been to to the
In more than
playoffs
a decade.
in a long time,
Yeah.
and then they got to the second round, and then they're like, oh shoot, like
What do we do
are we
now?
what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Anyway, happy for them. They made it that far. It's further than they made it in a while.
Yeah.
Sad that hockey that the hockey that we root for in the NHL is now over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, okay, so game tomorrow night for the final could be the last game of the season, which would be sad and happy all at the same time. But we're excited for Montreal. We are rooting for Montreal. I'll spill the beans there. We're definitely because of number one, our friends are Montreal fans, and they got
Mhm.
to go to an actual game, and we're living vicariously through them. So
And we were at Place Bell. Like,
that's
I mean,
true.
we've been
Yeah,
to, we know the heart of the building.
yeah,
And I mean, who doesn't want to root for the wife line? Come
yeah,
on. I
yeah.
mean,
But I
lesbians
like
all over.
Yeah, but I love the Charge too. But yeah, Montreal is winning out in my heart right now for who I'm rooting for to win this series. So
Yeah. But we would, like I said, be
either
happy if
way, either
either team
way,
had
doesn't
won.
matter.
We would be happy.
Does not
So,
matter.
yeah.
Okay,
Great.
so
Majestics.
yeah, we got to talk about the Majestics. So we went to the last Majestics game of the season last night. So for those, it's the women's tackle football, the WNFC women's tackle football here in Seattle. They have a very short season. It's only 6 games, three at home, three and away. So we actually got to all their home games, which is but
Fun.
yeah, it
You
was
did
very
it.
fun that we got to do it, and it was only 3 games, so it didn't feel like a huge investment, obviously, of time because it was only 3 games. But it was very fun to do, and it was fun to get to know the team and get to know the players. And yeah, like we're like, what you let us know next year, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Like super fun. I would jokingly said, because Brian and Ava came with us last night to the game, which was super fun. Actually, there was a bunch of people there, and we'll talk about that. But I was just like, I'm like, if the Torrent was still in the playoffs, I don't know that we would have the time because like we'd be, watching playoff games, maybe traveling to go to playoff games. Like I'm just like, I'm not sure we would have time to be as invested in the Majestics as we've been able to be. But
Right.
we'll see how this all lines up time wise next year, and because hopefully, the Torrent will be in the playoffs. So yes, knock on wood, knock on whatever.
Yes. Knock on everything you own.
Okay, so the game actually started very excitingly last night. They had got 2 touchdowns
Two
pretty,
touchdowns right
yeah,
away.
yeah,
Not two
pretty
points,
early.
but it was
Yeah,
12-0,
yeah,
like almost immediately, it
immediately.
felt like.
Yep, yeah. And the weather was a little ick, but I will say where they play, the stands are completely covered. I actually thought it was only half covered in my mind. I didn't have that
Yeah.
visual,
It
but
was the
like
frame maybe
it's
could have splashed.
but it's pretty much, I know I was joking because at
Yeah.
one point it did start raining, and I'm like, this is the way I like to watch outdoor sports with the rain out there,
Mm-hmm.
not on
Mm-hmm.
me. So yeah, so it was very cold though. That was my only complaint. It
It
was
was
just
so cold.
cold. It was just cold.
And it's so funny because the three games were so different. Like the
Yeah.
first one we went to, it was cold but sunny, and the sun was just like in our face because it's like the sunset is right on the other side of us. So the sun was in our face the whole time. Second game was
Hot.
scorchingly hot, and the sun is on us, and
Yeah.
we were like, we wore too many clothes.
Yeah.
Very hot. And then last night it was so cold. I don't think I warmed up an hour after we got home. I was
Yeah.
so cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think that's the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah,
It's very
absolutely.
unpredictable.
This time of year, especially.
Yeah.
Like, because we were talking about the kiddo birthday party we went to. It was an outside party and it was raining. And I'm like, it may in this area, it's like you gotta count on the fact that it could be raining. Like it may not be raining. Like today it's not raining, but like it hailed in the middle of the day yesterday, which was just so bizarre. Like it
Yeah.
was so bizarre. It was such a weird weather day yesterday. But anyway, the Majestics, yeah, came out and scored 2 touchdowns very early on, which were nice. I mean, they were pass throwing. I'm really
Yeah.
bad at this, guys.
Yeah.
Pass throwing touchdowns, which they did a lot of throwing of passes, a lot of passing,
There was a
right?
lot of passing, a lot of
Yeah, not a
pass.
lot of running, which is what the people behind us were yelling for.
Uh-huh.
Because they're in the fact that there was a lot of passing, there ended up being a lot of
A lot of
interceptions.
interceptions, a lot of interceptions. And I'm like, are they throwing to all the white jerseys? All I see are white
Yeah,
jerseys.
yes,
Don't throw
yeah.
there. But yeah, 2 touchdowns,
So
which
we
I
played the
love.
Oregon Ravens, just so everybody knows, and their
Yeah.
jerseys were white.
Yes.
That's what Patty's talking
They're
about.
much nicer than LA. They
Oh
were
yeah, they
very,
were.
very good
It
team.
was a great,
It
yeah,
was,
it
yeah.
was a good vibe. It was
Yeah, yeah.
definitely a good vibe.
Then they came back and scored, and Oregon scored and made a 2 point conversion.
Yeah,
So it was 12
12
to
to
8
8.
for a long time,
Yeah,
but we were still ahead, and then it was late in the third, I
at
think,
third, the
third
third
quarter.
quarter, or the fourth
I
quarter,
wanted to
beginning of the
say
fourth quarter.
period
Yeah, me
because that's
too.
where my brain is, but
Third
yeah,
quarter or beginning of the fourth quarter, I don't remember. They scored another touchdown.
and another 2 point conversion, I think. Didn't they? Because I don't
Because it
think they
was
kicked it.
16. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah, it was
16. Yeah,
16.
so it was two. Yeah, so they had two touchdowns with two point conversions. So it was 16. It was 16 to 12. And so we were basically down by a touchdown. We needed a touchdown at
Needed a
that point.
touchdown.
And we actually we at the end of the game, we were driving down the field and we I don't what was the
The time
call?
was running out.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
like 7 seconds left on the clock.
And they came together to try to get the line of scrimmage set so they could spike the ball to stop the clock because there was no more timeouts. I checked with the coach who was behind us, who was just sitting behind us yeah. And I'm like, do we have any timeouts? No. They have a timeout. They're not going to call timeout. They
Yeah,
want the
they don't
clock
want
run
to,
out.
yeah,
So we had to stop the clock. So we spiked the ball, and there was some
procedural.
procedural thing that they did wrong. Maybe they weren't set. I don't know what happened, and the penalty was 10 seconds off the clock,
Yeah,
which there was only seven
7.
seconds left, so that ended the game. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was like, wait,
We were all kind of the wind was taken out. Yeah,
yeah,
like it was kind of like one of those like, wait, what just happened? Like
yeah.
what just happened? Because we're like, why is the game over? I'm so confused. There's still time left on the clock. And like we were like within the 20.
We were, yeah, I
Yeah, it
think
was
closer to the 10.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
definitely
we
could have
could have
could
got
have
there.
scored
Yeah.
and in the 7 seconds that were left. So it was kind of heart-wrenching because it was one of those like, oh, just let them try.
Right. Like, what are you doing? Just stop it.
Just let them
Yeah.
try.
So, but it
But
was really exciting.
yeah, it was. It was a very exciting game. Nail biter down to the very last second, and they fought hard the entire time. And we talked to some of the players after, and like they have plans for how they're gonna what they're gonna do differently next season and that sort of thing. So I think that it's just it's exciting. It's a build. I think it's a building year for them, and I think that they would all admit that. But it was a really fun time. So I already said, but like Brian and Ava came with us. Ava's 365 hockey girl. So it was just really fun to just get to hang out. It was kind of like the original crew back together, like to hang out with them and see them.
Mhm.
But then our new friends, the Bleacher Babes, which
Half of the bleacher
well,
yeah,
half the Bleacher
babes.
Babes, yes. So Maya, who is half of the Bleacher Babes, so it's Katie and Maya. They started this women's sports group that basically is collective. Yeah, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it's a meetup group basically for women who are into sports, that want to just
Here,
get together, do
and
crafts. And
yeah,
yeah, so we went to a t-shirt making thing up at Cal Anderson Park on Thursday night.
that they put on tremendously. I
Yeah,
mean, the crafts that they had and they had
they
everything.
had
It was
snacks. They had,
great.
yeah, they had tables. They thought of everything, and it was in the middle of a park. And we brought the kids with us, which was super fun because they got to make t-shirts, and their t-shirts are ridiculously adorable.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so and it was a really fun experience. And there was about 10, I think there's about 10 people there,
Yeah.
but I
They
think
just want to bring people
together,
together.
and they just want to grow the community, which I think is, I mean, like that's why I'm like Patty's like, who are these people, what are we doing? I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, we just want to support them. We just want to support them because I love what they're doing, and I love their mentality is just like, how do we get this community going? So they actually just announced, I don't know if you've seen this, that I know that they had a Discord going, but they're like opening up their Discord, which I
Okay.
think is the best thing, because I was like, oh, you guys need to like start a group chat. And like, how do you start a group chat? Like a Discord channel, where people can like talk about like who's going to games and like how we can get together. So this is the other thing that I think is really interesting. We'll talk, I mean, I think we have a little more to talk about in the Majestics game, but I think that something that I've realized, that there is a lot of women, and there's a lot of women that we know that go to these games by
A
themselves. I
lot.
mean, Ava's like, I go to games by myself and I love it. And it's like, I think that's cool. But I think there's also something about like, if you want to meet up with other people, if you want to have a community,
To
like,
have that conduit is just amazing.
yeah, to be able to find a place where you're like, hey, I'm going to this game. Anybody else going? Want to meet up? Want to get together at intermission? Want to buy tickets and sit together? I don't know, like
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So anyway, we'll continue to like support, put out information about what the things that they're going to do. I think that there's a rain game on the 22nd that they're trying to figure out a meetup beforehand. So just keep your eyes out, go follow them. It's Bleacher Babe Seattle or something like that. I'll tag them so, people can find them. But
Is it BABEZ?
it's BABEZ.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bleacher Babes.
I want to say Bleacher Blabes.
It's
Sorry,
babes.
babes.
Bleach.
It is
Okay.
babes. They are
So
babes.
that's Maya and Katie. And then their friend Roman was also there last night. And Roman is kind of a hockey genius. I don't know. Like she
Ooh,
knows a lot. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like she
cool.
was like spout like her and Ava were going off. I was like, wow, they're talking about stuff like I'm from like 2017. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And just like it was great. It was so fun to watch them. I told Patty, I was like, it's like watching your kids make friends when you're like, ooh, they're getting along. It's so cool. But no, it was really fun just to like see the connections happening between these people who love sports and love to talk about sports and like to, this is what we love. Like we love to have these interactions. So just shout out Maya and Katie. It was a great event for sure
Yeah,
on Thursday night, and then it was really good to see you, Maya and Roman, for sure at the game
yeah.
last night. So I know McKenna was there as well. She does
Did
women's.
she say hi? Did we say
I know we didn't. No, no,
hi?
no. She saw Ava, but she was running.
Okay.
She was running all over the place. I think she was doing press. It looked like too, because
Okay.
she posted some on field. I almost said on ice, on field photography. So
Awesome.
she's women's sports. Oh shoot,
Collective?
no. No, no, no. But she just does reporting on the women's sports, all the women's sports stuff that's going on here in Seattle. So I will tag McKenna as well. I will. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't know the name of your account off the top of my head, but I will also get her tagged up. So
Yeah.
who else do I see?
We
Oh,
saw
Bailey.
Riley.
We saw
Oh yeah,
Bailey.
Bailey.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
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 we
yeah,
did. We
yeah,
saw
yeah. We have to say
Bailey. She
Bailey,
ran the
but
concession
they,
stand
yeah,
and
they
her friend Mia.
yeah, Mia. Oh, that's true.
Yes.
So Bailey has volunteered twice for the Majestics game, which I think is super awesome. Like, I mean, I think that's like not just like I want to go to the game and see the game, but like I'm gonna go like help the team. And they said before the game it takes 50 volunteers to run those games. So Bailey, I think that's amazing.
Kudos to
Yeah,
you.
kudos to you and Maya. And Maya, there was
Mia.
Mia. That's right. Mia had a connection to Maya,
Uh-huh.
which was
And
crazy, and
Katie.
Katie. So the way they all met and like they all met at a teamwork summit. Anyway, it was really fun. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what a flippin' small
Small
world.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a small world.
Yeah.
So
We
okay,
saw
so
Riley. She
right,
came over and said hi.
yes. So
She's
Riley's.
got an arm on her,
Oh yeah.
people, okay? She was throwing balls out like CJ was last
Yeah.
time.
So Riley's the PR person for the Majestics, and she that during halftime they were throwing football, the little plastic footballs like they were, and she was, yeah, like her arm, but she said she was what'd she say?
She's
She's a
center
center
fielder,
fielder,
softball
softball
center
center fielder.
fielder. She's got an arm on her.
Yeah, she definitely has an arm on her.
Yeah.
So and then you also met, and I eventually met the CEO of the Majestics,
Alicia.
Alicia. Yeah, so we
Really
had a
nice.
great conversation with her about where the team's going, where the team's headed, how we can support them better, all those kinds of
They're going to have
things.
tryouts
So,
in October. So if you want to play women's professional tackle football,
yes,
think about,
trying out.
yeah, working out over the summer and trying out in October.
And what Alicia said is that I think it was Alicia that said it. Somebody said it. A lot of these women have never played football before. Like when they come, because there's not a conduit for it. There's not a pipeline
Mm-mm.
for women's tackle football. So a lot of these women walk into this space, and like our friend Risky, who was a goalie, she was, like I don't know that she'd ever played football before, tackle football especially.
Yeah.
So they this is a new skill for all of them. They're learning this new skill. So it's not you don't have to have any
Experience.
experience or knowledge. And I mean, I would guess I don't want to call anybody out, but there's probably women on the team there that are my age, and I'm in my 40s, just so everybody knows. I'll throw that out there. So I don't think that there's an age limit. Obviously, if you're young and healthy, like you're probably not going to get hurt.
As much.
Whereas I would probably get hurt because I'm
That's why
old.
my wife's not playing.
I don't want to play football. I have no desire to play football. I do have a desire to play goalie, but I don't have any desire to play football. Anyway, I will watch it. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
And we saw Riley's husband, Dan. He
and we
was
did.
very nice.
He's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Took us
then
in, saw us out.
yep. And then the players, we talked to some of the same players that we've
Yeah.
talked to before. We talked to Savannah again, which was
Hmm.
really awesome. We gave her a shout out on our last episode where we talked about the Majestics. She's the one that gave us the lowdown on the equipment. And that's the other thing is we did find out from Alicia that there actually is a company that makes a couple of pads
Made for
made
females.
for females, but she said there's only like two sizes and it's not.
It's not the performance people, right?
It's yeah, it's
It's
not the it's only
where you
the
need to be.
tackler
Yeah.
people. We're so bad because we know
Yeah, we
nothing
don't
about
know.
this. But like
Yeah.
there's I didn't even know this there was different kinds of pads. But she said yeah, because the pads
For
that for
blockers, you don't
blockers,
need to have
well they
range of
need to go yeah,
motion.
they need to go down over their shoulders to protect their shoulders and they don't
Mhm.
have to be able to raise their arms, whereas the people who like catch and
Catch
throw the ball have to be able to raise their arms and so
different pads.
their pads don't go over their shoulders. They just go out on their shoulders. So anyway, I'm learning so much about this, but she said there is that, but there's still obviously a
Is it
need. There's
red?
a huge need.
Is it red?
I don't
I
remember
don't
the name
remember
of
the name of the
I don't
brand.
remember the name of the
Sorry.
company. But she anyway,
They
so
need more. They need
we
more
definitely
female
need more.
equipment.
So like more, the more we can make noise about this, I think the better. Just for all, I mean, and really for all sports. Like there's no reason why if women are playing the sport, there shouldn't be equipment that's designed for women's bodies. And I mean vice versa. Like I can't think of a sport right now that women are playing that men aren't, but like there should be equipment designed for all bodies. Like it shouldn't just be, you know, who has historically been the one playing it. If women are playing the sport, there needs to be equipment for them because most of the time it's for safety. And so we've got, you know, we want to keep the players safe and we don't want them to get hurt because they're wearing the wrong equipment. So,
I won't.
okay.
Don't even get me started on that
Yeah.
and the patriarchy and
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that. I mean, crash
Yeah.
test dummies, all of it. Like they're
Yeah.
all built like men.
Yeah.
None of them are built or have until recently
Yeah.
made for women or to researched about women. All right. Anyway, we
Are you
saw
done?
Savannah. We saw
Risky.
Risky. Of
Yep.
course, we saw
Naomi.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Very sweet. And we didn't get to
We
see
miss Zomi, which I
Zoe.
know,
Yeah.
which I was really sad about because she had on full glam makeup last
Yeah.
night. I think she was not feeling well after the game, so she headed to the locker room. So we didn't get to see her in person, but I did see her. I did see her.
Walk in.
I did see her. Well, her what she did like a getting ready
Oh,
going video,
cool.
so like I did get to see the makeup, but
Nice.
I didn't get to see in person, which I wanted to see in person. It's
Yeah.
okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I can't get everything I want, so. Okay, so yeah, so that was last night, which was super fun, and you know, we had just had a good time, and it was a good group of people, and we're really
Mhm.
glad that more people that we know are coming. You know, I saw many Torrent jerseys, Torrent gear. Like it's fun to
Torn
see the yeah
jackets.
to
Yeah.
see the crossover. So for all the people who are fans of Torrent that are showing up for the Majestics, like I love it. You know, I'm here for it. Like
Yeah.
let's keep the
Let's do it again
yeah
next season.
yeah let's keep it going. So I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else we need to talk about in the Majestics?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, Amy gave us the balloon. We got the
Oh
balloon.
yeah, shout out
Yeah.
the kids love it.
Kids love it.
Basically the moment they got home, it was theirs. Yeah, not ours anymore. So they had like they had someone that was making balloons and
Yeah.
it was really cute.
Thanks,
So
Amy.
yeah, it was super awesome. It was fun to have.
Yeah.
And then we didn't really say, but I will say Brian actually we got credentialed to go down the field during the first half of the game to take pictures and he
Once again.
killed it, guys. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I already put out a reel and there's a bunch of photos that I want to put out. I will put out probably before the end of the day. Like, it just, like, he just does such a good job. And yeah, it was pretty, it's pretty epic what he's been able to do. Not having, I don't think ever really done sports photography before, but
I
like,
don't
he's
think
just
so,
gotten
but
really good. Yeah,
yeah.
he's gotten really good at it.
He's got
So,
such an eye, I
yeah.
tell you. Really a good job. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, it was really good. So, yeah, super fun. It was just a really fun night. I'm glad we got to be there. I'm glad we got to enjoy it. And yeah, we'll continue to root on the Majestics. So,
Yep.
random women's tackle football.
Who would have
Um,
thought it?
yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think the next is talking about what's coming up in the coming weeks, right? So that just so everybody knows, obviously Monday is going to be the
Game three.
potentially the, you know, last game of the Walter Cup Finals. It might go on the rest of the week. We think that San Jose is going to be announced on Tuesday, so we'll have all four of the expansion teams announced on Tuesday. We'll continue, I'm sure, to hear about GM announcements and hopefully coach
Coaches.
announcements, you know, because we had a coach and a GM by the time we got to entry draft, but not at expansion. O'Rourke wasn't named before
No, he wasn't. He
expansion,
was at
so
the table.
that was it, the entry draft.
Are you sure? I think he was inputting during the expansion
No, he was
drafts.
not there. She was in a war room. You don't remember. That was
Okay.
on TV. They
Okay.
were not in they were in a war room basically
Okay.
at
I thought he had some
KCI.
input.
No,
I
he
might
wasn't
have.
there. No.
Okay.
No, that was
That was
he
the
came
regular
on.
draft.
That was yeah, he was there at the table on stage during the entry draft, but
Okay.
not during the expansion draft.
Okay.
Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I am almost 10,000% sure.
He was there, but I thought he was inputting some, there was some input, but maybe I'm
I
wrong.
don't even
I
think he
could
was
be wrong.
named. I don't think he was
I don't think he
named.
was named either. But that
How
doesn't
do you
mean he
know he
wasn't
was,
inputting.
how do you know he was
I
inputting?
don't know. I just seem I there's something in the back of my mind, and I'm probably wrong. And I know Brian will tell us.
Yeah, he was not at
Okay,
the table because
then
it
maybe
was
I'm
two
wrong.
people. It was two people that we
But I
didn't.
know he wasn't at the table. I'm not saying he was at the
I
table.
know, but where would you have gotten the information that he
In the
was?
phone. People have phones, right?
Okay, I don't know. Like that is some I have not, that is not a piece of information that I have ever heard that he was
I could
at.
be just making this stuff up.
Okay, because I'm like I don't think it was any part of the expansion
Okay.
draft. I don't think he was even named as a coach, but that's my memory. Okay. So just so everybody knows, we don't have any coaches named yet, which that my point in that was I don't know that that's gonna happen before the expansion process starts because I don't believe that we had coaches named during the expansion draft last year. So I GMs are essential because they're the ones that are making these offers and making these decisions. I don't I cannot imagine them getting up to May 28th and not having GM's name for all the
No, they could
teams.
not.
Right. But I don't think that coaches are essential for that process. And so I think having a coach on board probably would be nice at that point, but I don't necessarily know that it's going to happen before May 28th. That was my point
Okay.
and all that. And so that's happening that's what we know is happening this week, like almost 100% for sure with the San Jose announcement. So the other thing is that on a week from today, on Monday, we are putting out a special episode, and this little teaser, obviously. We got to interview one of the founders of Seattle Pride Hockey Association. And just so everybody knows, the Seattle Pride Classic is their tournament that they put on every year, and that is coming up the week of June 12th, 13th, and 14th. And so we will be there for part of that. And yeah, we just, obviously plan on talking about it as much as we can. So that episode with Joey is going to come out.
Next
No,
Monday.
Joe, not Joey. I'm sorry.
Joe.
I have another Joey in my life and I don't want to misrepresent him. So, Joe, that episode with Joe will be out on Monday. So you guys can hear about the Seattle Pride Hockey Association and how that all got
I'm out.
started. Yeah. And again, if we need to do bonus episodes because things are happening, like other than that, we will, but that's the plan at this point. And then the weekend after that, so May 29th, it's actually on a Friday night this time, which is unusual. We're all kind of like a little thrown off by the fact that it's on a Friday night. Their Oops All Goalies is doing their big event. So there's two games that
Back
Friday
to back.
night. Five, yeah, it starts at 5 to 9. So the games will be at 5 and 7, I'm assuming. And we plan to live stream that, and we fingers are crossed that we're going to do a better job technology wise
Could go either way.
than we did last time. But I don't know, people enjoyed it, so we'll do it again. We're gonna live stream it from from KCI like we did last time.
And
So
it's free. Come out May
yes,
29th, 5 to
absolutely. And
9.
it's very fun. It's a very fun event because it's just silly and ridiculous and nobody's taking anything too seriously. And there's a lot of goals. There's a lot of goals to cheer for. So it's a really fun event. So
Yeah. Good music, good goals,
if you
good
can come out,
people.
even if you can only come out for half, because I think that's the other thing, or people are like, oh, 5 o'clock, that's really early. Like, just, come when you can come. Like, just come and hang out. Like, it'll be a really fun time.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. And there's other things coming up later in in June. June is Pride Month. So we'll have a bunch of stuff going on. But just to leave it at that, I just wanted to make sure that we got what's upcoming for us in the next couple weeks. So anything else?
No.
What's your last word?
Ooh, my last word. New.
Oh,
Yeah. You know
why?
why? We're gonna have a new winner of the World Cup.
Mm.
It's gonna be a new one.
That's true.
We're
And actually
excited.
it'll be before next Monday. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not planning on recording another episode, for next week.
So we will know.
So we'll know before we get back on. So like I said, we'll see how this all shakes out.
Yeah.
But hopefully things remain a little calm this week. I feel like who knows what the PWHL is gonna
Anything
do.
could happen.
Yeah. Again, we very much expect to have all four teams announced and just the things coming online for those teams. Like they've got to. They have no choice because May 28th they start this expansion process that we're all going to be
Yep.
waiting with bated breath. So, okay.
Right.
I think that's everything.
That's it.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that's the show. Tune in next time for another episode of Gloves Off Seattle.